What's up, y'all? It's your girl, and I'm back for another video. It's time for me to go ahead and address the elephant in the room, as you guys like to call it, and explain to you everything what's going on with the pregnancy, and we're just gonna get it talked about and get it out the way. First of all, I'd like to thank everybody who reached out to me, everybody who sent their own personal stories, everybody who sent tons of encouragement. I really do appreciate all of you guys. Thank you so much. The stories that I've heard and everything has really helped me be to where I am right now. A little while ago, you guys may have seen that I announced that I found out that I was pregnant. And at that time, I didn't know exactly what I wanted to do. And I didn't know because I have so much, there's so many moving pieces to the puzzle. And there's so much more that goes into having a baby than just having a baby because you just got pregnant. My biggest concern was I just wasn't sure if now was the time to bring a child into the world. If you guys follow my custody journey, I've been going through a lot with that, and my son being in a whole nother state than we're at, and flying back and forth and going to court and just all kinds of different things. So right now wasn't the best time. And so I just was so scared and confused. Like, not confused, I was just scared. And even though I have 8 kids, it is still scary having kids. People don't understand how scary really bringing a child into the world is. And people, look at me and they say, well, you have 8 kids, what's one more? And it's like, you know what? That's not, I see how you might get the impression that I'm a baby making factory and that's all I just give a fuck about, but that's really not all I care about. It was one of those situations that just, I don't know, it just was unexpected and I didn't know what to do. So I had to take some time, and people who are wondering where I'm at and why I haven't addressed it is because I needed to think, and I think that's normal, and I think that is definitely I think that's fair. I think that being on social media, people have high expectations or unrealistic expectations for you to just come out and just put everything out there and not have any downtime. So I needed a little bit of downtime. So I've been vlogging other things. I have vlogs backed up from before I even found out. And those are the vlogs that I'm kind of giving out now. And just to kind of trickle something in so it's just not completely nothing. This is a controversial topic, so if you are sensitive or if you are someone who has suffered a loss recently, this is probably not the video for you. I'm just gonna say that now just to be sensitive. Let me also include that if you are looking for tears and me to be super, super sad and emotional, I've already done that. So you're not gonna find that on this video. It took me a lot to sit down and to do this video because I know the backlash that's gonna come from it. I've cried my tears, I've went through my mini depression or whatever, and I'm ready to move on because I have to be strong for my babies. Ultimately, we decided not to go through with the pregnancy. I ultimately decided not to vlog it because it was more emotional than I thought, and it was a lot going on at the time. I've never ended a pregnancy, so I had no idea what to expect. I think my expectations were unrealistic. When I found out, right after I went and got into my OB and found out how far along I was 6 weeks along. Once we found out and everything, I went home and I settled with it for a few days, and I thought about what my life would look like with another child right this moment, in the midst of a custody battle, in the midst of having a young child, and just I tried to weigh my options and see how it would be and see how I could view that, and if it's something that I could really see myself doing. It was hard because I felt like the longer you go, the harder it is to come to that conclusion that you really just can't do this right now. And so I settled on it for a few days. We talked about it. I called Planned Parenthood to see what my options were because I was really afraid of having to get an in-clinic abortion. Because if you Google it, if you YouTube it, it is just like devastating. That's just something I can't bring myself to fathom, right? You know, I never saw myself doing it. I never considered it. It was like, oh, if you end up pregnant, you're having a baby. This isn't my first or second kid. This would be 9. And I just couldn't bring myself to do that again. Not right now. Now it just wasn't the right time. So I called, I found out some information. I found out that I could do a pill, and it's supposed to be more natural. It's supposed to be something that you can just do it in the comfort of your own home, that you don't have to be in office to do, and it just seemed like the better option for me. After setting up my appointment, they were about a week out, so by this time I'm about 7 weeks. So I go in and they do another ultrasound. I choose not to look. They leave it up there, but I chose to look away because I just couldn't. You get a pill, you go home. 1 or 2 days later, you take another one, and then that ends it completely. And then you go back for a follow-up. I'm not going to go into super detail about that. You guys can look it up on the Planned Parenthood website. For me personally, was the better option. Emotionally, it was the hardest thing I've ever had to do. It wasn't easy at all because I felt guilty both ways. I felt guilty if I were to keep it. I felt guilty if I were not to keep it because we're all God's children. I feel like everything happens for a reason, and on and on and on. But I can argue that both ways. You know, I already have 8 children, and one of which who currently is not even in my household right now. And I just really need to focus, because the worst thing you could do is be a good parent that continues to make bad decisions. And I'm not perfect, and I don't make any excuses for my life or my decisions. I'm still learning. God's not done with me yet. I still have a lot of growth to achieve, but I felt like right now, in the middle of me trying to figure it all out and just get my shit together completely, get my son back in my home full time, and make sure my other kids are raised right. I can't throw another baby on top of that right now. So me and hubby decided, we'll leave the door open in the future. Before this happened, we were like, no more kids, absolutely not. I think since this has happened, we've decided that, maybe we'll add 1 more into the bunch, but not right now. Now it's not a good time. It's all about timing. I'm not gonna say that all my kids were at the right time, because a lot of them weren't. But I was at a different place in my life then, and when I made those decisions, I was at a different point in my life to where I honestly felt like I could do it, and I've done it. And I've done a damn good job of being a mom and holding down the fort and taking care of all 8 of my children. But I just can't make my life be about just having kids. I need to raise the kids that I already have. And I know there's gonna be people out there who aren't gonna understand that, but just try to put yourself in my shoes and just think of, like even moving to Las Vegas. I moved to Las Vegas to make a better life for my kids. They weren't living a bad life, but I wanted them to have better. We all want better for our kids, and that was part of my reasoning to just go ahead and take the move to Las Vegas. I really, really just want my kids to be able to have the most and the best. And I'm still, working on that. They live a really great life, and I want them to continue to have that life. And if I continue to put more on me and on the household, I'm not going to be able to ever achieve what I'm trying to achieve for them. You see what I'm saying? So, although it was hard and it was emotional, there was days I couldn't get out of the bed, and I just had to lay and just not move and just, going through the process when you're actually passing the pregnancy is the hardest thing that you could ever do, because all of your decisions come to a head right there, and you know exactly what you've done and what's happening. So no, on those days I could not vlog. I could barely do a lot for the kids. Hubby had to do a lot, and I'm grateful for that, for him for that, because I was just like, mommy's sick, not feeling good. And after about a week after I was completely done, I started to just really pray a lot and just really just ask God for the strength, because I have to be here for my babies. I have to be present. I can't be detached. I can't be down. Everybody needs their time to fall down and to be sad. And I took my time, and I didn't want that to start affecting my kids. So I said, you know what, God, please give me the strength to continue to push through, to heal, and to heal in a way to where I can still provide for my kids and be the best mom for them, because they're the reason why I do everything that I do. And I had to give myself some time. And so yeah, I've been kind of slacking on the vlogs, and I apologize for that, guys. But I just did what I could as I could. My main focus was on my family, on my children. I gave myself the rest of December. I said, post when you can. It's not always about the money. Post what you can when you can. In 2019, I'm just gonna come back vicious on everybody. I'm just gonna do what I want to do. I'm gonna take all my businesses to the next level. I'm gonna just do more. All in all, guys, even though it was a really difficult decision to make, I have made peace with it. I have decided that, in the future, we may add another one. But right now, it just wasn't the proper time, and it was emotional, and it was sad, and I hate talking about it, but I don't want to leave you guys hanging any longer. I honestly contemplated not saying anything and just being like, figure it out. But that's rude, because I had already let you guys into that part of my life this time around, and so I really lost the option to do this in silence and move on.